Hello everyone, it's time for another edition of Adventures in Careerland. Hello, I am your host, Adriano Magnifico. I'm the career lead at the Riel Arts and Technology Center. That's a very cool program that houses 13 applied technical and apprenticeship programs. They're for high school students, they're for international students, they're for post-secondary students. They get the chance to explore skills, because this is a place about skills and skill development. This is an area where students come in and think about, I wonder if I could, I've never explored this about myself. They move out of the beaten path of high school and the academic programming and check out some possibilities for themselves. I always have a great amount of admiration for students who do that, because it takes a little gumption to leave the beaten path of high school and the routine of leaving your friends sometime and checking out a new space. And newness always brings a little anxiety, it brings a little tension, it brings a little change, but it also brings possibilities. So I have nothing but admiration all the time for students who choose this path and who decide that I want to make a choice, I want to make a decision, I want to make a call about what my future can look like. So congratulations to everyone in these programs that include the broadcast media program. This is the big program here that runs this Adventures in Careerland podcast. And it's an adventure because we bring guests on to share their career path, what decisions they made, what challenges they felt, what tensions they felt as they went through the process. What did they move on? What did they learn? Who were the people who tapped them on the shoulder? That's what this is about, because we believe everybody's story is an adventure of some kind. And in the broadcast media podcast studio where we are, I am working with two very able young people who have made that choice to be in the broadcast media program. That is Caitlin Sidler.
What?
Did I get that right?
Well, you just mixed both of our names, I think.
Oh, sorry, Caden Sidler. Sorry.
They're close, yeah.
Sidler, did I get that right?
Yes, yeah.
Because we never get your last name right. We don't even know if you know your last name.
I think it's Sidler. We got to get that out in the public that it's Sidler.
I think we got to get your mom on here and confirm that.
Well, I actually have a different last name than my mom. It's her name, her last.
Okay, that won't work.
It's just me and my dad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how are you doing, sir? What have you been working on in the broadcast media program?
Pretty good. We've been doing a lot of script writing, preparing for we're doing this commercial that we're not actually filming, but we're pretending to prepare for it, and what it takes to get all that organized, and just some interviews, stuff like that, and a lot of editing lately. But it's pretty good. I feel like I've gotten the hang of it all, and it's going by decently.
Yeah, did you feel at the beginning you were learning the Adobe suite? Did you feel like, oh, this is hard? The learning curve is huge? And now how do you feel?
I feel like I can trust myself to get things done. Like in the beginning, the basic stuff was just hard to do, but once you learn it and get all that done, you can just improve much more. But yeah, no, I feel like I've improved a lot in the course.
And here is colleague of Caden's, Caitlin Middlestat, and she is with us today. How are you, Caitlin?
I'm great.
You're great.
I am.
All right, I like it. What are you working on in school?
The peer interviews, and I still got to finish up some After Effects and the commercial as well. So. And
just a reminder, these two also work on the Adventures in Careerland editing, video editing, and production pieces of the podcast. So they took on the extra burden, these two students, and so it's greatly appreciated by me. And how important is that internship going to be for you guys? You're building skills so you can go out and try to impress somebody, right? So do you feel like you're getting stronger? Think of yourself 6 months ago and now. How do you feel now about your skill set?
I definitely feel a lot more confident in it. I don't think I could have gone into an internship a few months ago and succeeded, I guess, but now I'm a lot more confident, and I think I could do pretty well in an internship. So.
What are you thinking, Caden?
Yeah, at the beginning I wasn't confident I'd be able to go into an internship and know what I was doing, but now at least it's you kind of got an idea and things are familiar, and I feel like I could at least seem like I know what I'm doing.
Or seem like it, right?
Yeah.
And what kills me about is you guys think you're sometimes, I've come from high school, so I'm in this high school space, and sometimes you continue to act like high school
Yeah.
students. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah.
high school students come late to
think so.
things, they hand in assignments late. And what happens when you
Yeah.
do that around here?
It's not too great. You fall behind. Makes it way harder.
Makes it way harder because there is a standard here where you have to be prepared to go out on these internships, right? You have to demonstrate that you really have skill, because if companies are going to take you on and all you can do is push a broom, that's not going to be a great thing.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, hey, what a great treat. I'm glad you understand the importance of an internship, because our guest has his whole career revolving around an internship that he started way back in high school. And this is a person who was in my career internship program at Windsor Park Collegiate way back in 2012. He is Ryland Carriere. How are you, sir?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm doing well. How's it going?
good.
Is this
That's good.
closer to the mic? I'm
Yeah,
getting the finger pointing. Getting a little bit closer.
And it was just the index finger, just to be clear. Okay, it was just to be clear. Anyway, Ryland, how you doing here? So glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is exciting.
It is exciting to have you here, because I remember back in that day we were talking about the internship experience, how important that is, and I've set up really a few thousand of these things, and I've never stopped thinking about how that an internship is life-changing for people. It's always something that's powerful. You started in 2012, you were in the career internship program, and you had an internship that changed your life. We'll talk about that in a second, but I want you to think back to grade 12, even grade 11 when I'm recruiting you, back in Windsor Park Collegiate. What's going through the head of a grade 11 kid, Ryland Carriere, way back in high school?
In high school, yeah. So high school was a good time. I definitely enjoyed going to school. So there's a lot of like hanging out with friends, going through the different programs. It was a lot of fun. I can't say I was thinking 10 years into the future at that time. That's today. Didn't know maybe what type of job I was going to get and what type of career I was going to go into. But in high school I was always focused on working hard, going through the different programs, learning as much as I can. But yeah, I don't think.
But you couldn't see that big picture, right? And that's important. We used to do exercises in high school. Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be? And they're the most useless exercises because you can't really imagine that, right? So when you think about your high school experience, you said, I was just doing the program, enjoyed being with my friends, enjoyed doing things. It's important. What should you get when you leave high school? What should you get?
Well, leaving high school, that's when a lot of people go into post-secondary school. So I think during that time, you should be thinking about maybe what your next steps are going to be afterwards, where you can start getting some experience that you can put towards a career. And so in that time, it's definitely very important that kids are thinking about this, and it's great that there's programs like the career internship program where it gets the students thinking about what the next steps are going to be and where they can get experience. And so yeah, it's definitely an important time in somebody's.
But think about that,
life.
Ryland. That was a program that had about 25 kids in it, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it wasn't.
And so it's not the ubiquitous program in the school. Someone is choosing it off the beaten path, like you have here at the broadcast media program, right? Caden and Caitlin. Like you've chosen something off the path. You choose, and I'm kind of in the hallway saying, "Come here, Ryland. I want to talk to you."
Yeah.
You know, and not that you're going to swim with a fish or anything, but we want to kind of convince you that this may be a great path for you. What makes you choose the career internship program? Because you're just a regular high school kid doing well, getting decent marks, hanging out with your buddies, and then I come to you and something tweaks inside of you, goes, okay, I have to try this. What? Why did you do it?
So first, I didn't actually know too much about the career internship program, or that we even had that at the school, to be honest. It wasn't until grade 12 or the end of grade 11, because this was a 2-year program, right? So it was there was already students that had gone through the grade 11 year, and I had no idea some students were already in your program. And for me, it was at the end of grade 11. I think it was at like an honor roll ceremony or something like that when you bumped into me. And we've known each other, like you mentioned, past hockey coach too, and so we've known each other. And you came up and talked to me, and were telling me about your career internship program. And I think you were asking if I knew about it, or why hadn't I decided to join in. And as you were explaining the opportunities and the different volunteering experiences that you can get out of the program, working on your resume, business plan, it was kind of like a light bulb going up in my head, being like, oh, this is something that it's an opportunity that I need to learn more about and try and find a way to get into that program. So it was after that conversation, I think I remembered going home and making a few phone calls to the school or sending some emails, because I had already chosen my electives for the next year, and I knew I'd have to change my courses, drop a certain elective so that I could be able to change my next year.
That's the tough thing, right? You have to deregister and register again. So that was a real commitment. When students have to do that, because we all come in and give you the here's how to register for your courses. Right. Every teacher in the building does that, right? Everybody brings the forms to you. Here are the courses you can choose. And the whole career internship program is just sliding by here. People aren't paying attention to it because it's not on the beaten path, right? So when you make that call, there must have been some tension in you, a little angst. Your parents must have been asking, what is this? What are you doing, Ryland? You're a good kid. I want you to go to university, kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, English isn't my most favorite course.
Da-na-na.
So definitely there was some...
I was the English teacher.
Some thoughts going in my head about, like, do I want to sign up for a full year of English? You know?
Yeah, because it was a 2-semester English. English was the hub of SIP.
Yeah.
So you did your opening English semester 1, and then you did Tech Com in semester 2, where you had to do a tech project, we called it, right? You had to do something that was a bit of a business plan, and it involved. So anyway, go on.
Yeah, and in high school I was definitely always taking the easier English courses too. So when I heard that this was a full year program, the first half was your Shakespeare poetry writing, and that's funny. Right before we started recording, you were doing your Shakespeare poet voice, and I still remember that.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
That was my poet voice.
It brings back some memories, maybe some nightmares too.
Okay, that hurts a little bit. In my heart, that hurts, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So no, I really enjoyed high school, and through the career internship program, I can go into detail on how that's set me up for where I am today.
Well, think about that, though. Part of the SIP thing was creating experiences for you, right? You have to find experiences. We call them dots in this podcast. You have to collect your dots.
Yeah.
I never talked about it that way, but now I do. Collect your dots so you can properly connect them.
Yeah.
Right? And you have to have enough dots. And you have to have ones that have taken you out of your comfort zone a bit. So you did a lot of volunteer work. We talked about this yesterday when we chatted on the phone.
Yeah.
You were at the Special Olympics Manitoba.
That's
you
right.
did Assiniboine Zoo, Boo at the Zoo,
Boo at
in
the
those
Zoo.
days. And they have a new iteration of that. You did the Amazing Agricultural Adventure. You did those things.
Yeah.
What was it like going out to do those things that you never would have done? You never would have partaken of those things.
Yeah, no, they were an awesome experience. I had a lot of fun going out, and the Boo in the Zoo, dressing up as, I think I was dressed up as a tree, and I'm a pretty social, like, outgoing type person. So I remembered, even though I was dressed up as a tree, and I think my role was just kind of walking around, I was getting I was interacting with everybody that was passing by, and so I was really trying to make the most out of any of these volunteer opportunies that I had. And
isn't there a Disney tree in one of the movies, the Guardians of the Galaxy? What's that guy's name? Groot. Yeah. You were a Groot. You were the Groot. You were way ahead of your days. Way ahead of your time.
Back then, I would have for sure been going up, I am Groot. I am Groot.
No, there wasn't.
Those volunteer experiences, and I'm still involved in volunteering for different nonprofit organizations, United Way, And those type of experiences, you get to really see, you get to see the community, you get to help out, meet a lot of people too. So it's a good chance to work on your communication skills, work on networking at certain events too. So those volunteering
Yeah, they're
experiences
huge,
set you up, and it's a good opportunity to put
And
it
you
on a
don't
resume.
even know the effect they're having on you while you're there, because you just have to react and engage and just connect and build, and you build relationships with people, right? And it's also powerful, but it works on you. It just works on you and makes you better. When you're looking at career, your interviews get better because you've had to speak to professionals at Special Olympics who are also all volunteering in this space, right?
Yeah.
So all good stuff.
Well, it's what you make it too, right? I could have gone to those and just stood around and not got anything out of it. So you kind of got to put yourself full out there.
Well, you're also extracurricular. I remember you were a player on my hockey team. I was coaching the hockey team with my son, and a number of community people, and you built relationships that way too. And those are important. Like, school is important for socialization. The community club's important for socialization. So you were right involved in all those pieces, and you had very supportive parents.
Yeah.
Who were pushing you into that stuff too, right?
Yep, definitely.
Were there times when you didn't want to get up for the 7 a.m. hockey practice? And Dad was hauling you out of bed?
Yeah, maybe a few. I'm definitely not an
Maybe
early
a
riser
few.
for sure.
Yeah.
Adriano making us do man makers. And
God.
Yeah. Hockey. I never understood that. I don't know why we ever did that. I don't know. We were trying to get you in shape.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But no, those were a lot of good memories of getting together with kids from different schools too, and you make a lot of friends that way. So
Very cool. But the big piece at Windsor Park Collegiate was every student in that program, the career internship program, had to engage in internship, and they had to kind of do the soul searching and the connecting to self to see what connected to them best. And your internship turned out to be a connection you had in your family. Talk about that.
So the internship that I went through was with a construction company, PCL, and I'm still with them today. And
What is PCL?
PCL Constructors, or Constructors Canada. So they're a construction company across North America, Australia, and yeah. So leading up to that internship, through the SIP program, we had to do an 8-week internship program. An 8-week
Yes.
stint with a company of our choice, so we can go out and find an area that we are interested in. And so, like you mentioned, I had some family connections through the construction industry. So going back, my papa had his own construction company. My dad worked for him as well, was in road construction. So growing up, hearing different stories about work in construction, and I heard a lot of these stories. And my uncle also works in construction, so he's worked for a couple companies. And I just remember always driving around the city, seeing different projects that my dad or family would mention, hey, this is something your uncle or your grandpa had worked on too. So I had an interest for construction early on, and when this opportunity came up through SIP to go out and get an internship, I reached out and was able to set up an interview with the company, and went through an interview, let them know what the program was about, and it's a 8-week unpaid internship, so it's free labor.
Don't say that. It was an educational experience.
Educational experience.
It was
for
free
sure.
labor. Well, just to be clear, when you say that, they're devoting human resource time to you. It's costing them money.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
they are the investors.
Yeah,
Not you.
yeah, and they have a really good student program that's still going on, and they get students from Red River College, University of Manitoba, all these different schools. So they have a really good program already set up, and I was able to get hired on for that term.
But what's it like? You're a kid. You have zero experience. For some reason, you want to be a civil engineer.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even figure that out? How do you decide that?
In high school, I enjoyed math and and physics, and I had a really good math teacher who was one of my mentors too, that I remember in his class thinking about, well, what type of courses am I interested in? How can I apply that to maybe a future career opportunity where I have these skills in math? And so that was one of the times that I had a realization of like maybe going into engineering and something along those lines. So in that profession, and with the construction interest as well, those two paired pretty good with each other. And then when the internship opportunity came up, it seemed like a...
So what do they do with you though? Like you have zero knowledge, zero skill set, to work on. Talk about that first week in the internship, and what was that like, and how did you react to it?
Yeah, so I was 17 at the time, and in Manitoba, you can't actually go onto a job site until you turn 18. So for those 8 weeks, I was working in the office, looking through drawings, looking through different plans, and working closely with the project manager who taught me a lot. But during this time, I wasn't able to actually go on to the construction site, but I'm seeing a lot of it from where I am in the office, and they really give you a lot of opportunity and a lot of responsibility too. So I felt like the roles that I had and the jobs that they would give me were really meaningful for the project too. So even just at that level of not having any engineering education, I'm still in high school at that time, they really get you involved in helping out the project.
So you're looking at those projects from afar. What is inspiring you when you watch those projects?
The projects that we work on are some of the coolest type projects, most unique.
Why? What's in them?
The amount of...
I would say Shakespeare's like that. So well, you tell me why this is your Shakespeare.
Yeah, my Shakespeare. I didn't pay too close.
No, like this is... I'm not saying you have to recite Shakespeare. I'm saying, why does this have the same feeling I have for Shakespeare? Why do you have the same feeling for watching that construction piece emerge or turn into something?
Yeah, so seeing these projects, knowing that they started from ground level, and then a group of people were able to create something, the amount of teams that are involved in creating that, I just find it so amazing how everybody can work together. Somebody had a vision for what this building or structure was going to look like before it was created, and so I find that so inspiring, and to be able to take part of the construction of that project is rewarding. It's very rewarding, and it's something that I'm passionate about too.
So would something like the pyramids of Egypt really excite you? Like, do you wonder, how did they do this?
I think a lot of people wonder how they
but for me, I'm looking at it going, whatever.
Yeah, no, that...
Where's the literature on this? I'm looking for the literature on it.
Absolutely. I don't just look at it as some pyramid. I'm thinking, well, how did they get all the materials there? Yeah. Where did it come from? How did they lift it into place? How many people did it take to build?
Yes.
Did they have a whole structure of project managers and field coordinators?
Well, as a little kid, was that something you did in your life as a kid? The things you had fun doing as a kid?
Absolutely. Building Lego sets was one of my favorite things to do as a kid. So you get a whole box, and it's just pieces all scattered throughout, and you go through the instructions and you follow step by step, and everything clicks together, and then you end up with a product that you can play around with. So for sure at an early age, that was maybe one of those moments that made an impact on where I wanted to take my career path.
So you went off then after the internship, you go off to Red River. Mm-hmm. So tell us what you chose in Red River, how that went, and what did you like about it?
Mm-hmm. So in Red River, there's a program called Civil Engineering Technology, CET program, and it is a 3-year program, and you specialize in a major field. So the one that I took was structural engineering, and you can take municipal engineering, you can take geomatics. There's a few other architects out of that program, and the thing that that made me most interested in the program is they have a really good what's it called, summer program, or co-op term.
Right,
Thank you.
right.
Yeah, so they have 2 co-op terms that you do throughout the 3 years, and you go out for 6 months, you get a job with a company, you submit resumes, and
Let me guess, PCL.
there you go. Yeah, so for both of my co-op terms, I was able to fortunately be rehired with PCL and work with them.
And they're paid, right?
They're
paid co-ops.
Paid
Yeah.
co-ops, yeah. And at that time I had turned 18, so
Well-
I was
well,
able to go on the job site finally.
Exactly. You must have been thinking, that cheapskate Magnifico unpaid internship.
Yeah, so that was really good experience, and you're the same thing for the internship that I was in. They give you a lot of responsibility, and you take on a big role with the project, so you feel that you really contribute, which is awesome.
So what is this? You work with them for a while, right? And then eventually you get your diploma.
Yeah.
They hire you on permanently.
Yeah.
What's the opening position? What are you doing right off the hop?
I started off as a field coordinator, and when I was going through the co-ops, I was a field coordinator student. So now I was doing similar roles where you're doing surveying, site layout, helping out. So you're right on site, helping out the superintendent, the different crews, to look through the drawings, review the plans, and help communicate that on site. Get involved in their safety program, quality program. So you're helping out with it all right on site.
So you must have been working with co-op kids that were coming from the spaces. So you understood where they were coming from.
Yep.
Did doing it as a student really help you work with the students?
Mm-hmm.
And how did that feel? Is there an affirmation that comes for you going, this is a good thing to do and I really like doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. Going through the experience myself, I know what some of these students are feeling of this is a big project. I'm in my first year of school, and I don't know a lot about construction, so I can relate to that feeling of that they're probably going through as well. And I try and pass on some of the same advice that I was given, to just be a sponge, learn as much as you can, don't be afraid to ask questions, and talk to people. Don't be afraid to go out and talk to a trade or a different site person that's walking around. People love to talk about the work that they're doing, love to share the knowledge that they have. So really just be a sponge and soak up as much information as you can. And that never ends. You're doing that throughout your entire career,
Yes.
always learning. from
Absolutely.
people.
What a great thought you had there, Ryland, because there really is a mentorship piece. When people have knowledge, there's a powerful affirmation about sharing the knowledge and bringing growth and possibility
Yeah.
and skills to younger folks that are trying to make their way, right?
Yeah.
And you feel that way now? Like, you feel like this mentorship thing, do you want to teach one day? Do you think down the road this might be something down the road? Or
I think as you go on with your career, you're always being a mentor to somebody. So
right on.
you're always trying to teach the next person that's coming up that's going to eventually fill in your position when you move up into another position too. So to have that mentality that everybody's teaching each other is very important. Kaden, you had mentioned something too about internships at the beginning, about confidence, having that confidence as well.
Yeah.
So that's an important piece, is to build your confidence up, do things that build your confidence up. Don't be shy, and it's okay to not know everything. I mean, we're just starting off early in the career, so I think there's a level of expectations that you won't know everything, right? But don't be afraid, and so confidence is really key.
You know what? That's a powerful commentary about how to make your way in the world. I really believe people talk about things you need to get forward. They talk about you need this teamwork skill, you need this communication skill. Those are all important. I think the superpower, though, is confidence. When you feel confident in yourself, and we talked about this yesterday on the phone a bit when you said you really have to develop a sense of self about what's important to you, what you value, why this is a powerful piece that's helping me grow.
Yeah.
So, the notion that confidence is important is something, Caitlin, how do you feel when you think of how confident you are? You talked about it a bit.
Yeah.
Caden, you talked about confidence a bit. You're only going to get that way by getting really good at something. What do you think? What are your great skills you think that you've developed where you feel like, I feel very confident about these?
Well, I think, for me with confidence too, it's all having a good mindset, right? So, really knowing yourself, having that self-awareness of kind of who you are, because I think what happens is in your own mind, you kind of become a little bit of a roadblock, right? So, I think it's good to.
Stephen Pressfield calls it that there's a resistance in us all the time.
Yeah.
That tries to hold us back. Sometimes I feel like I have it all the time. Imposter syndrome. Why am I doing this? Am I the guy to really do this? What if I mess this up? Kind of thing. How do you overcome that stuff?
Good question. Well,
it's hard, right? Like, is it just about getting so good at it that you're totally ready to do it, or what? What do you think?
I think it helps when it's not forced and something comes natural. And I think the only way that's going to happen is if you're feeling good, you're doing things that excite you. You're in a role and position of, where you're passionate about too. So having those kind of helping you out really help in the situations where you might be struggling. So knowing what your values are, what excites you, what gets you out of bed, and then getting into a career and that align with that is very important, because then it's just gonna flow naturally. If you're fighting against the grain all the time, doing something that you're not really excited about, it's going to wear at your confidence. It's going to wear at yourself, and so.
I believe that, Ryland. That's a great comment. I think, and for my young minions here, I think if you can jump out of bed every day thinking, I can't wait for the day to start, you're on the road to something, even when you're not sure about exactly how it's going to turn out, but you're in the right space, you're in the right environment.
Yeah.
So engineering is your environment. You feel that way? You jump out of bed every morning going, can't wait for the day to start?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I love the role that I'm in. I get to meet a lot of people, get to be a part of some really cool projects too. So every day it has its challenge, but the challenge is something that excites me. You're always growing, and there's something that I was thinking about this before the interview too, of mentors, and there was something that my dad had said a while back, and it was, if it's too easy, it's probably not worth doing. So you always want to have a challenge. But when he said that, I think he was talking about a video game or something that I was getting upset playing about. But it's something that's stuck in my mind ever since, is that you want to have a challenge. So at least for me, that's what excites me for sure.
That's pretty cool. Now, I look at my two co-hosts here. Do you feel the tension of school sometime?
Yeah.
And how do you guys overcome that a bit? Like, what is that?
Well, there's a lot of tension when you got a lot of stuff to do, and there's a lot of work that's piling up. But it gets much better once you're comfortable with that kind of, and you get through it faster and easier, and it becomes kind of more normal.
So you're okay to be in like a tension-filled atmosphere where you're doing productive work, though, right?
Yeah.
Is that reasonable? It's okay to have tension, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need some tension in life. You need a little bit of anxiety. I don't mean heavy anxiety. I mean, you need a little anxiety. I'm an old drama person.
Yeah.
What always got me when I went on stage sometime at the university, Black Hole Theater, I was ready to throw up before I went on. But the minute I got on, boom. Magnifico came out, right? And that was the tension. But I needed the anxiety of making sure those lines were in place, knowing I knew what to do, and will the audience like me? All that kind of stuff.
For sure.
Right?
Well, it's important to know maybe why you're having those feelings too. So understanding yourself to know maybe why are you feeling a little anxious or stressed about this. Maybe those are indicators of telling you, hey, I just need to prepare a little bit more for this. Or
Brilliant.
It's almost like your body's natural way of helping guide you too, right? You're getting a little bit nervous or afraid to do something. Well, maybe it's telling you something.
And maybe if you're not feeling enough tension, it's not that important to you.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's always to think about.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like if you don't have that tension, even like, then you don't feel as accomplished when you're finished, because it's just like too easy. Like you just it slid by it too easily. I feel like you need to put in some of that effort with the tension, or else it doesn't feel like you accomplished anything.
And that feeling afterwards,
it's like I did it, I got over it.
It's like an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great. That's excellent. What do you think, Kate?
Yeah, same thing. Like, it reminds me, I used to like really scared of this high diving board when I was little at this pool. But like as soon as I jumped off it, it was like amazing, and I kept going on it. So it's like the same thing where as you do it, you're like, oh, it's easy. So yeah.
I love it. Hey, if you were talking to some grade 11 students right now, Ryland, go back to your grade 11. Look at that class. If you could pull yourself out, this specter coming out and looking back at the whole class, looking at those students, thinking, what's going on in my life? What would you tell them? What advice would you give to them?
I'd say don't be afraid to take risks, or when an opportunity comes up and you might feel nervous or anxious or feel that you might not be able to do it, don't be afraid to just take a risk, because I think that's where positive change comes from too, is just getting out of your comfort zone. For me, I mean, joining the career internship program was something I wasn't too sure about how it was going to turn out. I had to kind of change my course a little bit, but you see an opportunity, you just got to go for it. So don't be afraid. It is definitely a big one, and just be a sponge. Just absorb as much knowledge as you can. Talk to people, build connections with others. Those are all pieces of advice I'd give to you folks.
And of course, we're going to run a career symposium here, and Ryland has already said he's going to be there. Right, Ryland?
Got it on the calendar.
Right on, brother. That's good. And of course, that kind of advice is great advice for young people. You've also been buoyed by the presence of people in your life who have mentored you and given you extra support. Who've been the big people in your life? Who have given you those taps on the shoulders and just supported you?
So parents for sure, family. It's good to have a good support outside of work and outside of school. So they've been a big one. There's been a few past teachers, maybe a hockey coach named Adriano, and old teacher is one.
Guy's got to raise his bar, I think.
And quite a few work colleagues or supervisors, department managers that have helped me along the way. We have a really good mentorship program at PCL, and some of them are my best friends too, that I see quite a bit outside of school, and met kind of in the first year of being with PCL that have stuck with me and helped me grow. And so
well, who told you to become a lead person?
The lead, yes.
Just talk quickly about that one.
Yeah. There's a couple people at PCL that have talked about it too. I've always had it.
What is LEAD?
Okay, so LEAD is an acronym. It stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. It's a certification program that owners or project teams can apply to have their building or their renovation project become LEED certified. And it's I think it was put on by United States Green Building Council, if I'm not mistaken. And so this program's been around for I'm not too sure how many years, but you can get your building to become LEED certified. So I think there's 4 different levels that you can get, like LEED Platinum, LEED Gold, LEED Silver, and LEED certified. And you can also become a LEED certified person as well. So I am a LEED Green Associate. You get a couple designation letters beside your name, but a lot more than that. It's so you go through this program, and it teaches you a lot about sustainable design, energy efficient design, green building, all those buzzwords. So
and that's obviously the direction construction's going in, right?
Absolutely.
Obviously. So this is important stuff. When I talked to Caitlin and Caden just at one time in one of the other podcasts just about how important is eco to you? How important is the climate change to you? How important in being, having less of a carbon footprint to you? Well, here's one way, right? And if workplaces, I think all workplaces are moving in that direction, right? I don't care if you're in video editing. I think there's going to be a sustainable piece to that we have to engage, right? Because you're still the energy involved in running our businesses or running our computers or running crypto, whatever. That's killing our planet, right? Or fast fashion, it's killing our planet.
Yeah.
So does this matter to you two? We'll leave it with you two quickly. Does this matter to you two?
Yeah.
How so? Now, so when you look for a job, are you going to say, is one of your questions at the end going to be, how green is your company? Are you?
I'll add it on there, yeah.
And if it's not green enough, will you do your own research? That's what I'm challenging you to do your own research and say, that's not good enough for me. Or this is good enough for me.
Yeah.
Unless they're paying a lot of money, of course. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Right? But what do you think of that, Ryland?
Well, that's it.
Are these the right questions they need to start asking?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, researching, just like you said, is one way that you can help and contribute to society moving towards green building and acting against climate change. So it's definitely important, I think, for next generations growing up, because you're going to get into positions and with companies where you can start pushing change. And so it's even just little things that you don't realize really make an impact, of starting maybe a recycling program at your school or doing things at home that help. So
all right, so the gauntlet has been thrown before you now. And these are good questions to ask at the end about, what are you doing that's green, and what initiatives do you have in place, and how can I help you and contribute to them? Are great questions that'll put you at a different level too when you're connecting to a company. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ryland, we do something here. Who's doing our quick?
I am today.
We do something special here called quick cues. So they're going to ask you some questions, and Caden's going to explain it to you, but it's not a discussion, okay? It's not a discussion. Everybody messes this up. So I'll give it to Caden, who's going to talk to you about how to do this.
Okay, so I got a list of some random questions here, and they're just choose one or the other, whichever you prefer, and lets us know a little bit about you. So, are you ready?
I'm ready. A little nervous on what are these questions going to be.
Don't be too worried. But, all right, spring or fall?
Spring or fall? Spring.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Flash or Superman?
Flash or Superman? Superman. Yeah.
Cash or debit?
Debit.
Yeah. Hero or the villain?
Hero. I didn't pause there, by the way.
I like that. Well, you saw the waxy mustache, right? He looks a little bit like a Marvel villain.
Call or texting?
Probably text more, but I do enjoy phone calls. Yeah, I like talking on the phone.
Not a discussion.
Yeah.
Dine in or dine out?
Out.
Trucks or cars?
Trucks.
Friends or family?
Family.
All right, spring or fall?
Spring or fall? Spring.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Flash or Superman?
Flash or Superman? Superman. Yeah.
Cash or debit?
Debit.
Yeah. Hero or the villain?
Hero. I didn't pause there, by the way.
I like that. Well, you saw the waxy mustache, right? He looks a little bit like a Marvel villain.
Call or texting?
Probably text more, but I do enjoy phone calls. Yeah, I like talking on the phone.
Not a discussion.
Yeah.
Dine in or dine out?
Out.
Trucks or cars?
Trucks.
Friends or family?
Family. You gotta go family.
And what is your favorite podcast?
Oh, Adventures in Career Land.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't care about the previous answers. That's the only answer
That
we're
was-
interested in.
You know, I had one on there, math or English, but you said you like math. So
Yeah,
I didn't want
that's
to
right,
disappoint
that's
Mr.
Yeah, good
Wiggins.
call.
Well, that was a quick little way just for some quick little
Yeah.
tidbits
Awesome. That
about
was
you.
fun.
It was a lot of fun. So, Ryland, can't thank you enough for coming in. You've come into the studio, which means we also give you
Oh, yeah.
the Adventures in Careerland sweatshirt.
Ooh.
How exciting is that?
That is.
And we're going to take a picture of you with it. We'll throw it in the social media
Yeah.
and all that, and all that kind of stuff. But hey, your story is inspirational. There's ways that students will connect to you, perhaps in ways you don't imagine, when they're sitting indecisively in that grade 11 pew, thinking, I don't know what to do, or who's done this before, or what are the challenges before me. So some of your insights are really valuable for young people as they listen to your adventure and your story. So I appreciate you being here, sir.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed this. This was a good conversation.
And it was a lot of fun too. And many thanks to the co-hosts, Caden, Caitlin, and to our producers in the producer area back there. They're hidden right now, but that is Phoenix and Geneva. And hey, this is our last episode of season 6.
Ooh.
Which is fantastic. So appreciate all the work everybody's been doing, our guests, and it's been a good ride. We'll be back in the fall with season 7 with our co-host. Our co-host will be back, which is great.
And it will be on video
On
too,
camera.
won't
And
it?
apparently we'll be on video. That's what I'm hearing. So how exciting is that? I'll have to whiten my teeth and wear a wig or something. Anyway, everybody, that's it for season 7. Appreciate you listening. You 8 or 9 listeners, thanks so much. And that's it for season 6 of Adventures in Careerland.